Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Reality Hour. I am Adam Samuel, and today we are in the home stretch of this season of Dancing with the Stars. It went so quickly, and joining me, as always, is a co-host who I think in the next few weeks will be wearing a veil. How we doing today, Grace?
Salt in the wound, Adam here. Jesus.
Salt-N-Pepa in the wounds. More like
Episode title. I'm doing
Salt
okay.
and pepper in the wound. That's
Yeah, Salt-N-Pepa in the wound is the episode title this week. I'm doing okay. Tired, which is weird considering I had a 3-day week, but it's almost Thanksgiving and I need it to be here soon. But I don't want this season to end and I really don't want to lose.
Yeah,
I know it's bound to happen though.
Well, there is one thing I guess we should talk about, and that is I was wrong about something. I was predicting that we would get Heidi D'Amelio in the bottom two with Charlie, but no, Charlie's probably doing too well. So yeah, let's talk about the big headline. We lose this week in a double elimination. Vinny and Heidi. Grace, what do you make of this?
Well, first of all, RIP to Eric's team. His team is gone.
Yeah, Eric and I lost.
Long enough. But no, Heidi, third time in the bottom two, clearly just doesn't have the votes. Vinny,
and she's talented. I think she was better than Daniel, Trevor. I think she was better. Grace is unconvinced. Grace?
But no, she was never gonna win. I would have liked to have. I was gonna say, like, if this is your third time in the bottom, you've got problems. I mean, well, you aren't gonna win. Vinny, this was his first time there, but it's about damn time he got there.
Yeah, he was. Man, what a. It's like, imagine if Vinny was in a lake and he had a boat and the boat had a leak, and he's like, okay, he has a bucket, so he's shoveling water out, and then all of a sudden a speedboat pulls up, and in that speedboat are the judges, and they all have like drills, and they just lean over and they just drill like 10 more holes and speed away. And that is what I feel happened this week. And do you feel like that's an accurate representation?
I don't even know what you just said.
His boat had more, like, it was sinking even faster, and he was.
I mean, Trevor's picked it up the last few weeks, so I think that factored into the judge's decision to save him. And normally I would say third time in the bottom, it's your time to go, but I mean, I would have. I mean, I know if the judges had it their way, they would have sent both of them home and just asked them to bring Heidi back.
I mean, Trevor still thinks he's a contender. This is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, he's the only one thinking. And I mean, Emma didn't even have a step choreographer this week yet because she was 99.9% convinced that she wasn't going to survive the week. Now I'm the same level convinced that Trevor's not going to make the finale, but I've been wrong before because I didn't think Cody was going to make the finale last season, and everybody told me I was crazy.
Well, let's talk about that. So we now are left with a top 6. I guess next week we cut 2 more next week, which brings us down to a top 4 for the finale.
Mm-hmm.
So the $1 million question, Grace, is who's gonna fall short? Who's not gonna make it there?
It should be Trevor and Daniel. I mean, Trevor's gone. We can quit talking about him now. But it could be anybody. I think Charlie and Gabby are going to be in the finale regardless. I think Shangela, Daniel, Wayne, those 3 are the ones that I would put in the vulnerable category.
It's so funny you say them because
I know that's your team.
You would think, but there's something in common with all those people you just said.
Yeah, you've got the 2 remaining girls. I've got the men and the drag queens.
I mean, I gotta know.
Dust off that crown, Adam.
It's not looking that good. I'm gonna
No.
like Indiana Jones. I gotta like go to my parents' house and like dig through my closet. Like I'll put on the Indiana Jones hat. They'll play the theme, and I don't know. I'll have to go unearth the Holy Crown. Grace, come on, work with me a little bit.
I'm too tired.
All right. Well, we have a full episode to get through. 2 hours sans commercials, and Jesus, you feel it. Like the dances between dances, like where the troop crew are dancing. I was like, this is going on really long. Like these are whole dances themselves.
I know. Although I will say, seeing Alfonso dance again was a big highlight. Because like I almost fell. I tried to finish the episode last night. Almost fell asleep, and then I fast forwarded through most of it today. And I was just like, "Wait, Alfonso's dancing? Hammer time!" Like it's always hammer time.
But did you like the episode as a whole? Did you enjoy the '90s throwback?
I did, actually. I mean, I love 90s music. I know I'm in like a minority there. I was born in the 90s, so I was not alive for all of it, like all these contestants were, except for Charlie. But I don't know.
I was born in '94, so
Same.
I guess I was kind of more like the early 2000s person. But when you think of the '90s, like what comes to mind? What are your '90s musical groups?
I mean, they had a lot of good songs here. Personally, I would have thrown in a boy band song. I was a little surprised we didn't get any boy band songs.
Those were more. I feel like they were more early 2000s. Like,
I mean, the Backstreet Boys have been around since 1992. This is their 30th anniversary.
oh, didn't know that.
NSYNC was a little bit later, though.
Who was first? I guess Backstreet Boys was first.
Yeah, and they're still together.
Not NSYNC.
No, I saw the Backstreet Boys in concert over the summer, and like every boy band has like the talented one, the gay one, the pretty one, the old one.
The one who was on Dancing with the Stars.
Well, they have two of those, but so does NSYNC. But my friend joked with me that like with the Backstreet Boys, all of them are the old one.
It's so the only thing that I could think like while I was watching this episode and seeing like Salt-N-Pepa and Vanilla Ice, it's like all these young singers that, you know, used to be like the prime have kind of evolved into like the uncle. You know what I mean? Like they've kind of just
like I had that feeling during I forget what relay it was, but with Kid and Play, oh yeah, it was Charlie versus Gabby. It's like they ain't kids no mo.
Yeah, it's like they kind of became, I don't even know. They're just, it's a different kind of energy. It feels like I don't know, like your kooky uncle who's like just I don't know, it just feels weird. But it was fun to see some of these performances. My favorite was, of course, Shoop.
I wanna shoot, baby.
Shoop.
We're gonna get copyright strikes.
Well, you can't get copyright strikes if you're singing it. It's only if you use the original audio. Anyway, so let's get into this episode. So did you see the intro that went on really long? And I thought it was super cringe. Like,
especially like when they had I don't know if it was a pager or a beeper. I don't even know what the difference is.
Yeah, and they
Heidi walks in, and then she's like with Heidi, she's like, "Mom, what's that beeping thing?" I was like, that was the only part that made me cringe because like she was the only one that wasn't alive for the 90s. All the rest of them, I'm pretty sure, were alive for all, if not most of it. Like, I mean, Shangela was a teenager then. Wayne is a 90s icon. Like all this other stuff. But also like having them start with What a Man, because Salt-N-Pepa and Vogue were both there. I was like,
Grace was digging it. I
love that song. But yeah, before we get into this, I have two headlines. I don't know if we mentioned this, but Lindsay had her gender reveal. She is having another girl.
Mazel tov.
Much to her husband's dismay. And unfortunately, speaking of 90s, we lost season 9 semifinalist Aaron Carter. He passed away on Saturday.
Yeah, they gave him a shout out on the show.
Yeah, normally, because like with all the deceased celebrities that have been on the show, there's like, they have like stars on the floor, although they now replaced it with just one star with the whole list. That list is growing now. Aaron is the first guy from the show to pass.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't have who was his partner?
Karina, she's not on the show anymore.
No, she was. I was thinking who was like I was expecting them to like pan to them and maybe they
Yeah, I
would
was
say
expecting him to
something.
like show some dance clips or even like a photo or something. And then, well, Nick Carter was on the show later on, but he had Sharna, and she's not on this season either. And he was robbed, by the way.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Nope.
Yes, he was.
He is one of the best winners. It was the first season I watched.
Let's talk about this episode.
All right, so kicking us off, we have Barbie Girl. Oh my god!
No, see, here's
Oh
the thing.
God.
No, okay. So I mean, it was kind of funny though, because like there've been now I know the producers read our tweets, because there have been people on Twitter calling these two Barbie and Ken for a few weeks now. So the fact that they got Barbie Girl was just so cringe-worthingly obvious. Now when he said he was into grunge rock, and then Emma's like, "We're doing Barbie Girl," and his face was kind of just like,
Fell.
yeah. Now here's the thing. I did not think this song could become any more annoying / intolerable. And then Ray Chu Live did it.
Personally, I think this is like it's a song you can't take seriously. There was
it's Europop. It's Swedish European bubblegum pop.
I just remember like I used to when I was younger, when I was I guess in the 90s, I would play these games online. Like there was this website called Miniclip. I don't know if you remember or know what it is.
No, never.
But they would take songs and they would like make edits of them. So someone took the song Barbie Girl and made it Ugly Girl.
Oh yeah.
And they would like play it in these games. And it was just there was some weird stuff. Was Miniclip was in the 90s. That was like one of my first tastes of video games was like that. And
anyway, about the actual dance, I thought the doll isolations part was really clever. Good on Emma for that. It was a fun dance. It wasn't clearly not enough to keep him out of the bottom 3 for the 3rd time. But I mean, he's totally not going to make the finale. But this was fun. I just hope the judges don't completely screw him over next week.
I gotta be honest. I think the shtick of it went on too long. Like that they were acting like movies. Like I was fine, like maybe a couple of seconds, but then it went. I was like, oh, they're still doing it. I was like, yeah, like
Yeah.
But anyway, they're DOA next week, right?
Oh, 1,000%. Like if they survive to next week, I'm gonna be very surprised.
But you know who I think might have a shot? They're
the only ones left that have been in the bottom, and they've been there 3 times.
I will say, I think there is also potential that Shangela could end up in trouble next week. But
I do too, honestly.
This week they're doing Spice Up Your Life. Are you a Spice Girl fan?
I am, but I think the last time we had this song on the show, it was someone whose name we don't say wearing highlighter green ruffle sleeves. And then this week we had Shangela in the same color costume, but full on fringe, which was not really all that pretty. And she got to be Scary Spice, who also didn't win this show, unfortunately. She was robbed. Don't tell me she wasn't, because she was robbed. Matthew, Eric, back me up. Mel B was robbed. Bomb the chat with it.
That's crazy that Mel B. She was judge on AGT.
This was before any of that. She was on season 5.
She had really good hustle, like post Spice Girl. She made things happen.
Yeah, she really wanted a good career. She didn't have the best music career out of the 5, but she had a TV show. She's done some other stints.
What's she doing now?
What?
What's she doing now?
I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Matthew. Yes, she was. She absolutely was. But it's Max's fault. Anyway, so Shangela, The dance was fun. It was not technically perfect, and it never really quite is. And I think that could be her biggest downfall is that the other two girls, especially, have much better technique than Shangela does. Shangela is easily the best performer of the bunch. Like, Shangela and Wayne are the performers. Gabby and Charlie are the technicians. And we've seen it before where the technicians beat the performers. Rumor beat Riker, and Rumor had better technique, and Riker was the better performer. Bindi and Nick, it was kind of the same deal. Nick was the better performer. Bindi had better technique.
Bindi was... You got to stop with the Bindi slander.
I'm not slandering Bindi. She's fantastic. Well, that and the fact that Gleb has only done 2 freestyles and neither of them were very good. But I mean, they did get a 37, so I'm happy for them. They should make the finale. We'll see how it goes.
I don't see it. I mean, no, I think they could make the finale, actually.
I can see it going both ways.
I don't think they're winning. I think they're
not winning, but although I'm seeing a lot of people do think they're going to win. I don't think they will, but
those people we call in denial.
Or maybe they just, let's see, they're in denial because Charlie isn't winning.
Charlie's totally winning.
She's not.
Charlie or Gabby are blowing this thing away. One of them is winning.
Who knows? I won't be upset if they do, though.
I definitely won't be.
But I will be upset if Wayne and Whitney don't win, and let's talk about these two.
Matthew agrees. Well, I guess not really.
Us longtime fans of the show, we've seen more than we should have happened on this show.
But what about
Wayne and Whitney back again?
What about Wayne and Whitney doing Motown Philly?
40 up in here.
I still though think they could be in trouble next week.
I do too, but I will say though, I mean, first off, I was really happy they got this dance and this song. This was his cleanest dance I've seen so far, and he had this really cool swag that I thought really fit the song and the dance style. And after having 2 horrendous weeks, I think Wayne is back in the game, hopefully.
I don't know.
I want him there. He deserves to be there.
If he wins and I am robbed of what is this, 5 times? Like, this is ridiculous.
5th in a row if I win.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. No, like
I in Dynasty.
No. All right, let's just keep going. Daniel and Britt, enjoy the silence.
Pulling a leaf out of the book of Niall and Peta and turning off the music. I thought it was gimmicky when they did it too.
I'll be honest. I skip a lot of like the intro packages.
Yeah.
So I just go right to the performance. So when that happened, I was like, what happened to my computer? Like, I was watching it on my computer.
I mean, you missed the sad story of the night. Daniel mentioned, so Daniel is adopted by his 2 lovely moms. His birth mother was a drug addict, and he kind of wondered his whole life why he didn't have those biological parents. He had 2 adoptive moms. Met her when she was 18, and then 2 years ago she died from cancer, which is super sad. And he kind of regretted not really talking to her that much when he was growing up. So I mean, that is very, very difficult, I'm sure. But this might be a personal problem because I saw online, like I watched the show late because I have a Monday night prior commitment. I saw they got a 39, and I saw somebody said they would have switched his score with Wayne's score. And then I watched the dance, and I didn't really like it that much. I didn't think it was that good.
Ouch. Wow. What? That's it's kind of harsh.
I didn't get it. Or maybe like I just set my expectations too high. I don't know.
Do you think he's got a chance to win?
No. I do think after Trevor, I think he's in the most danger of getting eliminated. The only way I see him surviving maybe is if he's there with Shangela and like Shangela stumbles next week. But even then, I think he is in a very high chance of getting eliminated next week.
Matthew disagrees with you, man.
Sorry, I just don't get it. Another 90s icon that was not mentioned, but she got her own theme last season.
Well,
Let's
it's
talk about
ironic because our
definitely
next
can't win because they gone.
Our next performance, Heidi and Artem doing a contemporary to Ironic by Alanis Morissette, and kind of ironic sent her home. Yeah, I think that contemporaries are usually meant to be like your peak on the show, and the fact that she kind of flubbed it, I think that burst it.
Yeah,
She was done.
it was good. Artem wanted her to have more emotion. Tell the other D'Amelio girl that she needs to show more emotion in her performances.
Stop with the
Hey, I wish I had the power to mute you. But no,
I have the power to mute you. How about that?
Don't do it. No, this dance was good. But like the fact that Carrie Ann was the only judge who really liked it, that was ironic because Carrie Ann dislikes women.
Wow.
She does. But no, a lot of people are very happy to see Heidi gone. I mean, if it were the decision out of the bottom 3 and I had to save one of them, I probably would have saved her over the 2 boys, but I don't get to make that decision.
I don't know if I would have saved. Anyway. I think I would have probably saved Heidi, but like I don't know. She kind of shot herself in the foot here. Like really rough, and kind of like at the worst time. Like this could have been her straight 10s. Maybe she would have survived if she had. In fact, probably. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe the higher scores might have bumped her up beyond the lowest vote getter spot. But then the judges would have kept her. But either way, she's gone. Everything's fine.
And now we're going to be Livin' La Vida Loca with Gabby and Val. I'll say this before, I guess I'll just give my opinion. This is the performance of the season for me.
Are you going to take your shirt off?
No, but I will say that I went back and replayed this like 3 times. That should, I think it was the best performance of the season so far. Tell me I'm wrong.
It was a really good performance. And I'm finally seeing Gabby like start to want it because I feel like she's kind of just been questioning like, what am I doing there? What's happening? This was her best dance. I think she's going to win. I do. I think it's going to be Bachelor Nation takeover all over again.
And we would be okay with this.
I wouldn't be that angry about it. I mean, if I didn't have a draft on the line here, I would be less angry about it. But no, her winning wouldn't bother me.
I haven't won since a certain American Idol who I don't think we talk about anymore. That's how far it's been. I think I've won 2 drafts.
Are you going to pop sparkling cider if you win?
The only times I've won this draft was the first time and that other contestant. And oh, Grace. Oh, man. Okay, who's next? We got
What is love?
Love, baby, you don't have
another contestant who's gone.
I once had, so funny story. I once had, when I was in college, I had a 1-person mosh pit to this song. you mock, but it was some wild times.
I mean, that song is like, every time I hear the song, I just think of like a bobblehead just going like.
It's got that beat.
Yeah, it does. But even Vinny knows that he shouldn't be here, and this was easily the worst of the night. And I guess it was the good time for me to run out of things to say about him because he just kind of went through the motions while Coco was visibly counting for him.
Yeah, this guy was DOA, and I think he knew it. And
I mean, this was his first time in the bottom 3, so
he was still DOA. And yeah,
I mean, the thing is, like last week he was the 9th best dancer out of 9. This week he was the 8th best dancer out of 8. It was time for him to go.
Yeah, Charlie's not going to be in the bottom 3 next week. Matthew, get out of here.
I mean,
if Charlie's in the bottom 3, that will mean that someone really, we're not even going to talk about it. But let's actually talk about Charlie and Mark doing a tango to
Woo-hoo, do, 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 do.
that's what the song is.
I never knew the name of this song until it was on Hurdle, which is like a music version of Wordle that I'm obsessed with. But I always thought this was just called the Woohoo song. And her going right after Vinny with the tango, the same dance he did, pretty much magnified why Vinny should have been eliminated, because Vinny was mediocre to bad and Charlie was fantastic. This was my favorite dance from her this whole season.
From Charlie?
It was. They were strong throughout. Her lack of emotion and letting loose didn't bother me that much because it's ballroom. She looked strong. She and Mark were fantastic. And I've been afraid of Charlie this whole time. I'm less afraid of her now than I was earlier, but I was not willing to get on her bandwagon, but I might have to, especially, I'm guaranteed to be in the finale next week because I have 4 people left out of 6. So I'm going to have at least 2 of them.
Shut out.
Wouldn't it be so funny if that happened to you again? It's not going to. But...
Just because we might have these thoughts, we don't need to say them aloud. We can just keep them inside, keep with our inside voices. I think this is a very dangerous spot for the other competitors because Charlie and Mark with his creativity.
Yeah, I think Mark's done more freestyles than any of the other pros left put together.
Yeah, they're always really good.
But like this show really wants a Mark and Val showdown. And
who would you root for in that scenario?
I don't root for the pros.
The only pro I would root for is Mark and I guess sometimes Lindsay. But
Lindsay's pregnant.
So I'm working with what I have this season.
Whitney's her best friend. You could root for Wayne.
We're talking about Charlie here, Grace.
I know. I don't know. I'm going to have a horse in this race no matter what. So, I'm going to be rooting for Wayne or Shangela unless they both get sent home next week, which I don't think is going to happen. But the technicians usually beat the performers. That's what I'm scared of. You've got the technicians. I've got the performers and Trevor.
Well, tell us how you really think about the dance-offs.
So the relay dances, they were better this year than they have been in the past. So basically what it was, the couples were already paired, given a dance style and a song in advance. The original artist performed the song. Only one judge actually judged each dance-off, which I wasn't really sure about how fair it was, but who knows? Winner got 5 points, loser got nothing.
It's a pretty hefty difference.
Some people didn't think the pairings were fair, but some of them, I didn't think they were that unfair because, Trevor and Vinny, they would not have beaten anybody else, either one of them.
I think they should do a random draw then and there. The Tyra Banks pulls out she reaches into a bag and pulls out a chip and it's Charlie, and then the next one it's Vinny, and then Vinny loses.
Well, for one thing, it's not really that fun when we know who's going to win in advance, although half of these I already knew. Charlie and Gabby was the hardest one, but let's start with Daniel and Shangela with the cha-cha to Ice, Ice, Baby.
Dum, 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 diddy-da, dum.
Oh, yeah. For those of you who did not know this, so our group chat, Adam was texting this entire song during the show. I'm like, why do you
I've heard it too many times.
Of a song?
It's a joke of a song. How dare you? How dare you, Grace?
Oh, no. It has been noted that Vanilla Ice is the biggest joke in the rap world.
I bet you not a well, can anyone name, all right, there's 3 people watching this. Without looking up anything, I challenge you in the chat right here for me, where the chat is, name one other Vanilla Ice song besides for
He doesn't have any.
Shh. I want to see if anyone in the chat knows.
He doesn't have any. That's the answer.
3 people watching. One of you has to give me an answer. Is there any song you know other than Ice Ice Baby?
No one does.
I will not move on until someone answers. Matthew?
Yeah, I mean, Vanilla Ice was actually a season 23 contestant, a former Whitney partner.
Yes, we didn't even get any, like, I don't know.
See? See? But no. So Shangela started. She brought out the fire. Gleb brought out his pecs. It was clean and energetic, and I knew that Daniel was going to have an uphill climb. They were good too, but not quite as good and not nearly as entertaining as Shangela. So Len agrees with me. Shangela was the winner.
What are we doing next week, by the way? Like, by
no
the way,
theme, but it's 2 unlearned dances. No redemption round this season.
What?
No redemption. It's just 2 unlearned dances. All of them except for Gabby have a Viennese waltz. 4 of them have passos.
Do we know the songs?
I do, but we'll get to that later.
All right. So next up, we got who's up next?
Trevor and Vinny with "No, You're Never Gonna Get It, Never Ever Gonna Get It." Get what? The Mirror Ball Trophy? Ooh.
Hour draft win.
What?
A reality hour draft win.
Maybe. Oh yeah. No. Can we not do redemption round for the final? Can we do encores instead? Anyway, we'll talk about this. But anyway, Trevor and Vinny, neither one of them would have won with anybody else. Vinny was better than his first dance. Trevor wasn't that much better than Vinny, and then Carrie Ann picked Trevor. I don't know if I would have picked either one of them.
Nail in the coffin for Vinny. Like,
yeah, I don't know if I would have picked either of them.
Ouch, Grace, you're being harsh today.
I'm not a good person. Yes, I am, actually.
We'll leave that up to the chat. So, anyway, next up, we got a shoop.
Peru. A lot of people were happy that Heidi got paired against Wayne with Samba because Wayne already nailed a Samba earlier in the season. They're like, yes, Wayne's going to win and Heidi's going to, lose and go home. I was very happy about this pairing for the same selfish reasons. The thing is, a lot of people are complaining that the show is making Wayne look arrogant. Now, when he said that he was a world-class performer, like, yeah, it's true, but people just look for reasons to rip on people.
Yeah, the producers, that's all that they do. Like, they can make any innocuous person like seem like a jerk.
They feed people lines too. But I mean, okay, this was another one with, Heidi with the technique and Wayne with the performance, and this time the performance won. Although I will say this, though, what was going on with Wayne's head? Was that a hat? Was that a headband with a man bun? Like, what was he wearing on his head?
I don't know.
But I don't care because he won. Heidi was clean and forgettable. Wayne, I liked his other Samba better, but he was still better than Heidi, and that's all he needed to be for Bruno and me.
Well, who's the last one? What's the last pairing we got?
Charlie and Gabby.
Ooh.
With a salsa to Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody by Kid and Play. Never heard this song, and Derek judged them. This was the toughest matchup of the night, and honestly, I have to disagree with Derek. I would have picked Gabby. I liked Gabby better. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I don't know. They're all that's left of my team.
I know, and you still have a better chance of winning than me, and I have double the people that you do.
We'll see. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, Charlie was clean. I would have liked a little bit more fire. I thought Gabby was more fun, so I think that's what pushed Gabby over the edge for me. And if they'd paired both of them would have beaten Trevor or Vinny. But Charlie won, so Gabby fell down on the leaderboard again. And Charlie and Wayne are tied for number 1.
Well, we move on. What's going on next week, Grace?
All right, so the elimination, the couple with the lowest number of votes was Heidi and Artem, so they're outright eliminated. Rounding out the bottom 3 were Vinny and Trevor, and all of the judges voted to save Trevor. I probably would have sent both of them packing, but what can you do? I think that might be when we do our end of the year wrap up. That might be my request. Like, do the double eliminations earlier in the season because, like, raise your hand if you would have cared that Carol Baskin went home the first week.
I would have cared. That was a bad example.
But like any of the fans watching this, like if Teresa Judas and Sam Champion had gone home the same week, would you have been upset? Because I wouldn't have been. I don't know, but hey, Trevor has now survived 3 bottom 3 trips. I don't see him surviving another one.
You were just ripping on my people today.
What do you mean no? What are you saying no to?
Yeah, Matthew's on my side. He agrees. What's coming up next week, Grace? Tell me what's on the horizon.
Next week is the semifinals. Yippee. We have 2 unlearned dances, one last Latin style that they haven't done and one last ballroom style they haven't done. And we have a double elimination again. So I'm going to talk about round 1 first.
Before we do that, I will say if I lose both my contestants next week, I will be doing the rest of the podcast in a full-on funeral veil. Like I will be going to some store and purchasing a full-on veil. And I will be delivering the entire podcast in full monotone, and Eric will have to be there to save it.
All right. Anyway, so round 1, otherwise known as I only know half of these songs round. Wayne and Whitney will perform a paso to Beggin' by Måneskin.
Begging you, put your loving hand out. I just know because Philip Phillips did it.
I mean, Måneskin, now that they won Eurovision and been huge hits with their cover of that, think they're too good for Europe.
He's going to do my eulogy. Well, go to hell, both of you, if that happens. I'm going to be so mad if I get shut down again.
I don't think you will. I really don't think you will. Charlie and Mark will perform a Viennese waltz to Glimpse of Us by Joji. Don't know this song. Trevor and Emma will perform a cha-cha. It's the prophecy to Satisfied by Galantis featuring Max. Don't know the song either, but everyone who watches the show,
he will never be satisfied.
Not that one, unfortunately. But everyone who watches this show knows that the week that Emma and her partner get a cha-cha, bye, happened last season too.
Who was that from? I don't even.
That's from Hamilton.
All right. I love that. Did they ever do Hamilton songs?
They did Wait for It.
It doesn't count. I didn't like that
Can
song.
that be Wayne's encore? It probably won't be. I would love it though. Daniel and Britt will perform a Viennese waltz to Surprise Yourself by Jack Garrett. Don't know this song either.
Keep going.
Shangela and Gleb will perform a paso to The Edge of Glory.
I'm on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment.
And Gabby and Val will perform a slow waltz to I'm Kissing You by Desiree.
Don't know that song.
I do know this song. Round 2, Wayne and Whitney will perform a Viennese waltz to It's a Man's World.
It's a man's world.
Can it be a man's season?
All right, keep going.
I mean, there's 4 men left out of
Grace, just keep talking.
Charlie and Mark will perform a paso to España Cani, which has been used on the show before. It's a Latin song. Trevor and Emma will perform a Viennese waltz to Count on Me by Judah Kelly.
You can count on.
Not that one. Judah Kelly was a Voice Australia winner. That was his winner single. It's a good song. Which is weird to say about singing show winner singles, I know. If Eric were here, he would roast me. Daniel and Britt will perform a samba to Light It Up by Major Lazer. Light it up. Da, 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 da. Something like that. Shangela and Gleb will perform a Viennese waltz to I Have Nothing.
If I don't have you.
I know they have no say in these song choices, but
they're really bad. They're really bad.
And Gabby and Val perform a paso to Malagueña.
Not
that one.
Oh, which one was that one?
I'll send it to you. But I did a marching band in college. That's random.
Well, Sounds like a big week ahead. 2 more episodes. Year's almost over, Grace.
I know.
I'm so up.
It's almost Thanksgiving.
Well, anything else to discuss, Grace? Any other news? Any headlines?
I'm going to be so sad if I lose this draft.
All I can say is vote for Kathy and Charlie. Otherwise, full veil. I think I'll do the podcast in the dark with like a flashlight, like on my face, like just pointing up.
Can the chicken that you showed me in the intro, in the pre-show, be here?
Only if I win.
Oh God! So you're gonna be blasting up "All I Do Is Win," and that chicken's gonna be on there, and I'm just gonna be like,
"No, it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be the Darth Vader theme
with the chicken."
Come on, with the lightsaber, or the chicken will have the lightsaber.
Oh, good Lord Almighty, help me!
We'll just pound the Imperial March. Done, done, done.
Okay, now we're going off the rails.
All right, so I will say I am Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Soapbox. And what else am I doing? I'm going to go see Black Panther tomorrow. And yeah, what about you, Grace?
You can find me drowning in a pile of work. Took me this long, though. And you can also find me on Twitter at reality2_Grace and making extra fake phone numbers so I can vote extra for my team.
Grace, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll have good news next week. And if you stuck around this long in the chat, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.